In this video, I'm going to attempt to survive 200 days on an isolated survival island. In 100 days, I went from this tiny island with just a single tree to this, which in my opinion was quite good. If you haven't watched my first video, I really recommend watching that one before you watch this one. Now, I have a few goals I'd like to achieve by the 200 days. My first goal is to get full netherite armor, and my second goal is to kill a wither and get a beacon. Oh, and if you happen to be one of the 98% of people that aren't subscribed to my channel, please make sure to. It's free and helps out a ton. Make sure to leave a like as well to help with the algorithm. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the video. Day 101, I headed out on a boat and went mining as I had used all of my gold in my previous video. I needed gold to trade with the piglins in hopes of getting leather as I needed it for my enchanting room. I found a cave straight away, but the amount of mobs that were attacking me was ridiculous. I was getting attacked by so many zombies and blown up left and right from creepers. I decided to leave the cave and go strip mining before something went terribly wrong. I spent the next 3 days just strip mining, and of course more strip mining. I did find a decent amount of gold though, so I guess it was worth it. It was day 104 before I finally left the mines and went home. But as I was going home, I found a nether portal. I looted the chest and of course took the gold block. Day 105 to 106. In total, I had 43 gold, so I headed into the nether and traded with piglins. I remember seeing a comment on my last video of someone saying the baby piglins scam you and just take your gold. So I killed the baby piglin that I traded with before, and the amount of gold they dropped was insane. I had so much gold now. Then I just traded with piglins, and in total I got 24 leather and a ton of more items and didn't even have to use all of my gold. I thought that was good enough, so I went back home. Day 107, I didn't really know what to do. I needed sugarcane for paper so I could craft bookshelves. I harvested all of my farms and then I just waited around for my sugarcane farm to grow. Day 108 to 110, my sugarcane farm was fully grown, so I mined it all down. Then I crafted 6 bookshelves and added it into my enchanting room. I could now finally enchant at level 30. I enchanted a ton of swords at level 30, hoping I would get a looting 3. Unfortunately, I didn't get looting on any of the swords, but on my first try trying to enchant a book, I got a looting 3. I needed a looting 3 for when I grinded wither skeletons for wither skeleton skulls. With a looting 3, you have a 5% chance to get a wither skeleton skull, where without a looting 3, you only have a 2.5% chance. Day 111 to 115, I wanted to go back to the end and loot some end cities for some loot. Firstly, I brewed some slow falling potions as loads of people commented on my video telling me to. Once I got the potions, I headed into the end. Once I was in the end, I jumped off into the void and just flew into a random direction. Definitely not a good idea at all, but if you've watched my videos before, you'd know I do pretty stupid things. After a while flying, I finally found an end city. I looted all the chests I found. Then I flew over to the ship and of course got a new elytra. When I was on the ship, I saw another end city nearby. I flew over and then saw another end city right nearby again. I don't even know how lucky this is. Then I set a waypoint and went back home as my inventory was full. Day 116 to 120. I crafted a shulker box so I could carry more items and not worry about my inventory getting full. I crafted some more fireworks and went back to the end. I got back to the end city and suddenly I just started falling straight into the void. I panicked and thought my elytra broke. Luckily it didn't and I survived. In these 4 days, I did exactly the same as what I did in the previous days. I just looted all the end cities and got a ton of loot. Day 121 to 123, I grabbed a looting 2 I got from the end city. Then I crafted some iron bars so I could fix my spider grinder. As I was placing the iron bars, a ton of spiders started attacking me, so I fought them all off. Then even more spiders started attacking me and this was not good. Even in full enchanted diamond armor, these things were still deadly. I didn't want to risk dying like that again, so I grabbed a few golden apples. I managed to change all the fences to iron bars, and then I just grinded the spiders for a while. If you're wondering why I needed to grind the spiders, it was because I needed wool. As I am on a survival island, sheep do not spawn, meaning the only way I can get wool is to grind these guys for string and craft it. I went AFK for around 10 to 15 minutes, and when I came back, there were probably hundreds of spiders just sitting in the corner for some odd reason. I killed them all, and in total, I got just over 4 stacks of string. I used all of the string to craft wool. I also found tons of string just dumped in random chests in my house. I used that to craft wool as well, and I got almost 2 stacks in total. Day 124 to 130. Firstly, I brewed some fire res potions. Then I crafted as many beds as my inventory could hold and headed into the nether. Then I bed bombed in the nether. I got so lucky. I got 2 ancient debris on my first bed. I continued to blow up beds for 6 days, and after a while I ran out of fire res, so I decided to leave. Once I got back home, I smelted the ancient debris and had 22 netherite scrap, and I crafted 5 netherite ingots. On day 131, my recording crashed, which was really annoying. I'll go through what I did on the day though. I used my levels to combine a ton of armor together that I got from the end cities. I also enchanted a few things, and in the end I got this full diamond set. On day 132, I grinded a ton of spiders for levels as I wanted to try getting feather falling 4. I had 30 levels and sword protection 4, but I knew the chance of me getting feather falling was pretty low. So I enchanted some books to refresh the enchantments. I put the boots back in and saw feather falling 3, which I thought was good enough, so I took it. I then combined my boots together, and the amount of enchants I had on these were insane. On day 133, I combined these leggings together. The one downside is they had curse of binding, but I thought it was whatever. Then I realized I was missing an enchant for my boots. I had tons of soul speed books from trading with the piglins. The only problem is I didn't have enough levels, so I went back to grinding spiders. I then put soul speed 3 on my boots. Day 134 to 135, the only thing I was missing now was a good sword. So I headed into the nether and grinded quartz as I thought it would be quicker than waiting for my spiders to spawn. Once I had the levels, I enchanted a sword at level 30 and got Unbreaking 3 knockback 2, which was awful. I enchanted another sword at level 30 and got sharpness 4, which was pretty good. I also got fire aspect 1 from a book. I then combined a ton of swords and enchants together, and in the end I got this absolutely insane sword. Then I crafted a smithing table and of course upgraded all of my armor and my sword into netherite. I don't think I've ever been this stacked before. Day 136 to 146. My gear was definitely good enough to take on any mob now. I decided I would grind wither skeletons for wither skeleton skulls. Before I did, I geared up taking as much stuff as possible. Then I headed into the nether, and if I'd be honest, I totally forgot where the fortresses were in this world because it's been so long since I last played. Eventually I ended up finding a fortress, but there was not a single wither skeleton in the entire fortress. I knew there was another fortress nearby, so I just flew around until I found it. I searched the entire fortress and only found 2 wither skeletons. I knew that was not good enough, so I went to another fortress that was nearby. I knew this fortress was good right away because there were so many wither skeletons. I heard that the less mobs that are around, the more chance there is for wither skeletons to spawn. So I ran around the fortress killing every blaze I found. I also mined the blaze spawner, and I decided to kill all the zombie pigmen as well just because there were so many surrounding this fortress. After killing all the mobs, I could tell a difference straight away. There were so many more wither skeletons spawning. It took forever, but I finally got my wither skeleton skull. Getting my second wither skeleton skull didn't take that long. I didn't even realize I had gotten it because I was having an intense battle with so many different mobs. After several wither skeletons killed, I finally got my third skull. I was very happy to say the least. And to top it all off, within 30 seconds, I got a fourth skull, which was ridiculous. After that, there was no need for me to be in the nether anymore, so I made my way home. On day 147, I mined down all the trees that were on my tree island, as I needed it for my next build, which you'll see in a minute. Day 148 to 152, I realized I haven't really done that much building in this video, so I decided to build a windmill. I'm pretty bad at building, which is why it took me so long to build it, but hey, the build came out really nice, and I hope you enjoy this time lapse of me building it. On day 153, I crafted a fishing rod, enchanted it at level 30 and went fishing. I have no idea why I decided to fish, but it was a massive waste of time. I fished for the entire day and didn't really get anything interesting. On day 154, I went to the nether and built a very simple pigman farm. I wanted to test out how much gold I could get. I hit a pigman to anger it and then ran around trying to gather as many pigmen as I could. I ended up with quite a few, so I baited them back to the trap. And the pigman just casually walked past my trap, which was not good. Luckily my armor was pretty good, so I didn't take that much damage, and I managed to kill all the pigmen pretty easily. But from that, I got 4 pieces of gold, which was definitely not worth it. On day 155, I went back to the nether with some more blocks and attempted to fix my trap. Then I angered as many pigmen as I could, and just like the last day, they just walked straight past my trap. But this time it was not good. I had so many more pigmen on me than the last day, and they almost killed me. This would definitely be the most embarrassing death if I died to a pigman. Then I figured out the reason why my trap didn't work is because you're meant to put the trapdoors on the wall. I tested it out and the trap actually worked this time. In total, I got 16 gold ingots, which was decent but not really worth it. On day 156, I crafted a bow and then level 30 enchanted it. Then I placed down a load of saplings because I totally forgot before and I was almost out of wood. Then I finished the inside of my windmill as I hadn't really done anything with it. Day 157 to 106, I repaired my elytra and crafted as many fireworks as I could. Then I headed into the nether in search of a bastion. Traveling with an elytra is so quick, so I found one pretty quick. Now that I had full enchanted netherite armor, these piglins barely did any damage. I looted both the chests and got a fortune 3, which was really good. I knew in some bastions there are gold blocks hidden in the floor, so I mined around looking for some and found quite a few. I definitely underestimated the amount of damage I would take from these piglins. They still did a lot of damage to me. I managed to kill the piglins, then I looted the chests and went back home. Day 161 to 170, I got this insane pickaxe, then I mined for 9 entire days. I kept putting off mining and it was getting quite bad. I had no iron and no diamonds left, so I decided I would do one last mining trip and this would be the last one in a very long time. I made sure to take every ore I found except from redstone because that's pretty useless to me. I ended up with an entire shulker box full of ores. I decided I had enough and went home. Once I was home, I crafted all the ores into blocks, and it was safe to say I definitely didn't have to go mining anytime soon. Day 171, I headed out on a boat with a mission of getting a trident. To get a trident, you need to find a drowned zombie that is holding a trident, and they are very rare. I only found a single one in the entire day of 171. I spent the next 4 days just strolling around on my boat hunting down drowned zombies. I killed quite a few and unfortunately didn't get a trident. Day 176 to 178. I was not giving up now. I had to get a trident. This time I flew around with my elytra as it was much faster. I spent the next 2 days just searching around for drowned zombies that had a trident, but most of the time the drowned zombies would never have one. I eventually found a drowned zombie with a trident and he dropped one. The trident was on 0 durability, so there wasn't much I could do with it, but hey, I was still happy. Day 179 to 184. I thought I was finally ready to fight the Wither. I brewed some strength 2 potions and took my god apple and 4 regular golden apples. Then I flew away from my island because the last thing I wanted was for the Wither to destroy my entire island. I dug down to bedrock because down here he couldn't really go anywhere. Then here I was, ready to spawn the Wither. It could all end right here. I spawned the Wither and instantly drank a strength 2 potion. I haven't fought a Wither in years and I totally forgot that when you spawn a Wither, you're meant to get away from it, and I almost died. I had to eat my golden apple because I was on a heart and a half. I started to fight the Wither and I was doing crazy amounts of damage to him, and he wasn't doing much damage to me because I ate my god apple, and I killed him pretty easily. And of course I got the nether star. Then I flew home and crafted a beacon. I built a little room right under the windmill for the beacon. It was underwater, so it was a massive annoyance to block all the water off, but eventually the room was done and I placed the beacon. The beacon light went all the way through the windmill and it just looked so cool. On day 185, I collected as much sand as I could so I could fix my beacon room. Then I put my sand in the furnace and waited for it to be done. On day 186, I made the beacon room all glass and it looked much better. Day 187 to 200, I decided to build an enderman grinder. Firstly, I needed to make the area as flat as possible, so I mined it all out. Then I realized I could use my beacon for haste and make the mining so much faster. I spent so long mining, making sure the entire area is as flat as possible, and I thought I did a pretty good job. So I started to build the enderman farm while following a tutorial, and here I was ready to test if the farm worked. And it did. It worked very well. I was pretty pleased with it. I built this stairway that went down to the place where the enderman would land. The reason it was so far down is because then the enderman are a one-hit kill. I farmed enderman for about 2 minutes and I had stacks of ender pearls. This farm was very effective. And there we go. 200 days survived on an isolated survival island. I hope you all enjoyed this one. It took a very long time to make, so please make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel if you enjoyed. Anyways, until next time, goodbye.